All right. Wake up! Good morning, self. Quite the activity overnight and yesterday afternoon. Price pushed 4K, 3999. High. Previous volume point of control, 93.75-ish. Overnight session, push, 4009 stock zone, and then break the overnight low, test 3956 just before singles at 3954.75. Expectations today mainly are that FSVWAP acts as resistance, and there's pretty strong resistance around the 90s handles. Previous close, previous volume point of control, and reversion lower to take the overnight low, test the singles, and potentially test the 40 stock zone, which is micro composite volume point of control. And if we break through there, then the 22 singles. Alternatively, if we test this 56 region and we open at around 3970 and we have a large impulse at the open, then potential to take the levels in the 90s and then potentially overnight high, followed by the extended target, which is 4023. Previous week's volume point of control. Although John is not overly optimistic about reaching that target, expects the 4,000 area to act as fairly strong resistance coming into the weekend, which during the overnight session now we see that we have really extended the overnight low. There was originally just a 20-point range, and now we have broken to the downside, and that previous volume point of control might act as resistance. But enough about the market, more about me. I felt pretty drained yesterday, and I think it's kind of like a chicken versus the egg situation. I think I was already kind of there emotionally in the morning, and then the market kind of just threw me over, and I felt pretty exhausted, so I took a nap. I got up at 2, and then I finished my journaling. I didn't really finish. I finished the trades, but I didn't finish the daily journal, which is, not really good. So I journaled my trades. I wrote some of these, but I did not finish my goals or my report card, which can't happen. Anyway, though, so yesterday there were some subtle signs that I was feeling emotional. I was really hasty coming back from my walk, as Devin said. I was kind of dreading coming back to the house because of how dirty the floors were, and I felt like I couldn't breathe. And I think that kind of put me on tilt a little bit. During my walk, I kind of felt like my thoughts have went from just a lot of gratitude and appreciation for the world around me, acknowledgement of my place, to more shallow thoughts that aren't as meaningful. And I noticed that trend, and I said to myself that, it's all right to not always have, those thoughts, which it is, because I'm still developing a routine that allows me to be in my best state, because my actions is what I can control and really not the way that I feel. But I could control what I choose to think, not how I feel. So I just need to keep pushing to be in that optimal state. But anyway, then in the pre-market video, I say how if I'm feeling out of alignment, then I should take a step back. But I think I was hiding from myself a lot yesterday because I was feeling this emotional pull, but I wasn't acknowledging it. And I could tell that I was hiding it from myself based off of that comment that I made in the pre-market video, because I said if I took a little pause, out of alignment, and then I remember thinking to myself, no, I don't want to go there. I guess out of fear that I'm going to predict my own future, but that theory has been proven wrong because I took a massive loss yesterday from not acknowledging and coming to resolution with my emotional state. It sounds very simple when I explain it logically, but when you're in it and it's you, it's not simple because it's under layers of feelings and thoughts, and you have to really peel the onion back in order to break through to the roots of the feeling in order to resolve it. And on a day like yesterday, those levels of emotional awareness for me were just felt lower. So when they're feeling lower, that's when I need to be on guard the most, and I need to be the most aware. But it's like an oxymoron, because how am I going to be most aware if I'm not feeling how I usually feel? Yeah. What's up? What?
Yeah, it's not flushing. And every time I flush it, the water gets high.
It's clogged.
But I really need toilet paper. And I think it's clogged with toilet paper. I thought you were the shit guy.
I am. Well, you have to wait for the water to slowly drain.
Before you can cleanse it.
Yeah.
It's not getting higher though, right?
Yeah. I'm not gonna plunge it right now.
It's not getting higher, right? I'm not worried about it.
No, it should. The water tank is still filling up. Hopefully the water slowly drains out of it.
Okay. I'm just gonna close it.
Okay. Yeah.
You guys are having fun this morning.
Devin clogged the shitter. Yeah. So along with this lack of awareness yesterday came a lot of bad trading. I had 3 trades that were actually trades and 5 that were not trades, and that is pretty overwhelming, because it just means that I am not able to sit and be patient with myself. I'm forcing money into the market when in reality I should just be chilling. And I think that what worked on Tuesday and Wednesday with very fast-paced trading, rotational trading, didn't work yesterday, and it showed. Because on Tuesday and Wednesday, I didn't really have to wait for structure, as a pullback. Because the rotations were big, and when I saw the selling structure, I was able to play the breakout of it. But yesterday, I was trying to apply that strategy yesterday, but the major issue with that was that I wasn't waiting for picks of location. This is 3 trades from yesterday. And price is coming up to the VHVN. We have a high over this liquidity. We see that price is coming up, bouncing off of VWAP, not respecting it's bouncing off of VPOC, not respecting VWAP. It's holding against mid. It breaks above mid. It breaks up to the VHVN, holds mid, tests again, can't break, holds. But I enter a short here, and there's just no room to get risk neutral after all of the support. But my chart was so zoomed in that I was not really able to see that. And then, again, we respect this level, and I'm taking a short out of location into the VHVN, which is important, which is something that I do sometimes. So I don't want to be shorting into an area that just held a support. And then this trade is just, blindly gambling and hoping. I need to get a move on with this video. So let's keep moving. So essentially, I'm not being selective enough. I was front rushing areas where I knew stops were above. And I had a hard time managing FOMO. Today, I have no thoughts as to why people may have incentive to be going long. I need to get my higher time frame alert system back up and running, as today I am only looking at a very zoomed in lower time frame chart. Yeah, so I have my alert system up and running, and it's gonna remind me about both charts, about what should be happening. When price tests a low day, I consider it a test as a low. I'm not seeing the big picture, which is that the low was held. It is not a new low. I am operating in too tiny of a fractal. I'll have the chart zoomed out today, and I will be narrating it very frequently, because that is a surefire way, if I don't do it, of being myopic. And if I do it, I have a detachment from the big picture, like I was thinking this morning. Like when I'm looking at the chart, but it's almost like I'm looking around the chart, not zoomed in on what's happening in that very moment, because it's bigger than that. Yesterday, I did not pick up on context change when price held the low. Today, the same thing happened to me. I'm not updating my market view yesterday, and the same thing happened today. Okay, so my alert system should help me with that, with keeping in focus of what may happen. At least I will be updating my views, and I know I will be because I'm going to be following the alert system. And if I still struggle, then I know where my problem lies. So my goals for today are to be meticulous with narrating the higher time frame chart and staying zoomed out enough on the lower time frame chart, updating my beliefs, and just flowing still and enjoying myself. I really do want to flow today. It seemed like yesterday when I said it, I didn't believe it. But today, I do believe it. I'm there. So, we're going to have a great session and enjoy our Friday. All right. So, no trader bite this morning. According to the pre-market plan, we expect there to be pretty heavy resistance coming into these handles in the 90s. So, overnight volume point of control at 92. That's a pretty decent target. Previous close, 95-ish. The high at 99. Overnight high at 09.25. And then really extended target at 23. Previous week's volume point of control. So, according to scenario 2, support/buyers assert themselves at the 70 region. If we get this, I would expect an open around the 70 region, an attempt lower that may or may not take the overnight low. Regardless, I'd expect to see price test into the 50 handle, make a new low, then fail to retest that low. Seeing the above, I would look for an impulse higher that takes us through FSVWAP. Seeing that, I would look for continuation higher to test overnight point of control / previous close region, the key target for this area. And then a test into the 90s, he's expecting strong resistance and the market to revert lower and chop around yesterday's range into the close. Alternatively, if pullbacks are supported, he could look for a grind higher into the 4K level and beyond that to the overnight high. So it looks like we did test this 56 level, 57 level, and we did find buyers. And at 75, we had that iceberg step in, and we've broken above. So at the open, we could potentially look for a test back lower in order to potentially test into the 90s. FSVWAP is sitting at 85. Alternatively, we could look for, if the market just rallies at the open, we could look for these areas and for a response at these areas to see if we start seeing resistance or if we start breaking through. So essentially, potential to see a pullback and a longing structure to target these areas. And if we don't get that, then potentially a short up here. Wow. Look at this. 10,000 icebergs. 3,000 icebergs. So price responded with this iceberg order with breaking through it and breaking higher. So the market broke through this, which is an important thing to note at the open. The overnight volume point of control is now sitting at 75. So if the market rallies at the open, then this would have to be a target, and it's a very likely area to be hit in the morning. Okay, so we see a VPOC migration, chopping around, large liquidity, 274 stops, 6 stops, break lower, price too high there.
Order submitted. Order submitted. Order submitted.
We're targeting the overnight volume point of
Order
control.
submitted.
Okay, we're risk neutral. Pretty laggy right now. All right. So we're testing the VHVN. Phoebe. We want to front rush this area.
Order submitted.
So we're testing the VHVN. Not finding buyers yet. I don't know why this isn't working. So VHVN is held, retest here. That was a potential short. But we broke above, we test the high, we created all this volume down here, retest. So it's like, but it would have worked. Testing the low again. Okay, breaking the open line. Testing high again. So I'm seeing like some sort of flagging pattern. Back at the low. Tested the low here. And we break this volume, but now we're struggling to hold this. And we're breaking lower. We have this volume here from the pre-market. So we're going to be pretty aggressive with how we manage this. If we hit this target and we start seeing pretty responsive buying, then I'll exit my other contract. So we're front rushing this by 1.5 points, all the liquidity here. Coming down.
Order submitted.
Testing. Overnight volume point of control. Pushing. See stop divergence. Some buying off the area. We're out.
Order submitted.
Doesn't gotta be harder than that. So, test the overnight volume point of control. Auction, break high. A decent impulse off that low. Auctioning above the open. Potential VWAP to VPOC. But this area could also act as support. Resistance. Up here. So we test the VPOC. Test the VWAP. Seeing some exhaustion, testing up high. A pullback to the VWAP.
Narrate the higher fractal chart. What has happened and what may it lead to? Is the lower fractal chart displaying enough information to make good decisions?
So on the higher time frame, we see resistance at 85. VPOC has not shifted. And then we see overnight volume point of control tapped. We rally back up and we're chopping at the prior auction, and now we've just broken to the upside. So there's definitely potential to go test higher. That was a break of the high. We could look for a test somewhere in this area for a potential long. There's stops. Liquidity steps in. He pulls. So potential to continue from here or test lower. Looks like we may find some buyers here. Chopping. Okay, we're below the day levels. So we pick and then we just fade away. But we see some stop divergence. Testing the low of the structure. Some buying coming in. So chop, break low, chop. Still breaking low. So we're below this auction here. Broke below, retest. We have this volume here that we just tested off of. So if we hold these areas, we may test lower, but if we break above them, we could test previous close. Test the volume down here. Coming back up, test up here. Creating an auction, breaking higher. Want to see how we respond up here? Looks like exhaustion. So now we retest here. Price checking. So that's open line rejection. If we break below the 75 level, we could have a potential short off of it, off of the high volume node. And the 75 area, targeting the overnight low, which is a standalone low. So we broke below this low
Narrate
here.
the higher fractal chart. What has happened and what may it lead to? Is the lower fractal chart displaying enough information to make good decisions?
Yeah, so we broke below this low, and now we're auctioning the low of the day. We're holding up against this high volume node. So potential lies for a break, or at least a test of the low. Some strong selling. Weak pullback.
Order submitted. Order submitted. Order submitted.
Not my finest. So we break the low and we impulse back to the high volume node. Okay, so we broke the low and we find a pretty decent reversal, but it fades away. And we tap the low again. Testing the low, not yet broken, but looks like it wants to. That's a break. So we do break the low, and now we're auctioning but we're unable to find buyers from this area. Now we see some buying coming in. Testing this volume here. That was a break. But we have all this volume here. Kind of looks like a flag. And we do find sellers to break the low on good selling volume. Some volume here. Let's look for more of an outside edge. We have up here, high volume node. This is the high volume node. Didn't break any structure yet. We have the day levels up above. 13 stops there. First signs of a break there. Still moving higher. So that's a legit break. From up here, we didn't break this. We have the volume to test up higher. Now we're breaking. Testing this volume.
Narrate the higher fractal chart. What has happened and what may it lead to? Is the lower fractal chart displaying enough information to make good decisions?
So we just tested this volume and we broke above here. Testing this high volume node. Break this auction. Testing here for the second time. And we break. Chop. Testing the high volume node. No stops.
Order submitted.
That's not good.
Order submitted. Order submitted. Order submitted. Order submitted. Order submitted.
We're looking to get risk neutral by this volume here.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
We get a scale. Looking for 2 ticks before the low. And then we're looking for the overnight low. This kind of does look like we're flagging above this volume. But we are breaking the lows and we have not meaningfully been able to test higher. So that's a test into that volume. This is a weak low down here. Seeing some speed, some buying after we broke down here. Potential lies to also take me out. So I see somewhat of like a curl going on. Curling action. So we could either give, like sellers are in control currently, but we're holding above this and above the 70 area. So we could break higher. It seems like this was a stop pick into the 90 zone. But we know that we have stops up above too. It seems like this will take me out now. Not yet. There is some stop divergence here. Chop, auction, break, break above, and now we're holding. We have news coming out in 1 minute. News might take me. It could also take my target. The book is getting very thin. Takes me out. Test the open. Basing here.
Narrate the higher fractal chart. What has happened and what may it lead to? Is the lower fractal chart displaying enough information to make good decisions?
We're above the day lines. We auctioned here. So we're going to look for a test of that volume for a potential long. Down into VWAP and mid. Should respect this. There were a few long opportunities like this right here after this volume was created. Break high, test. A lot of liquidity at 90. So, double top there. It's pretty weak. Outside edge is at VWAP. VPOC is holding. Order liquidity steps into the book. Auctioning the high here. Didn't break it yet. Little selling structure. Auctioning, still thinking that we may break to the upside. First break. Number 2. We take the high and now we're just coming back in. That was the original overnight volume point of control before the market opened. Test the high here. Auctioning above it. These were two long opportunities here. So we take the 92, and now it's mean reversion. Buyers step in at the volume here. Break above this auction, hold, breaking higher. Test the volume. So that area did look good for a long. This definitely looked good for longs. It's just a little too quick for me. Seeing another selling structure. Outside edges down here. That 81 for a VWAP to
Narrate the
VPOC.
higher fractal chart. What has happened and what may it lead to? Is the lower fractal chart displaying enough information to make good decisions?
Coming back down to retail. Liquidity stepping in. They're trading. Some strong volume. So break lower into retail, testing the volume up here. Scene of the crime in the news is 76. Testing the levels again. Breakthrough. I would have taken that trade yesterday. Stops picked. Test that high volume node.
Order submitted. Order submitted. Order submitted.
Maybe that's not a long. Hit the scene of the crime. Pick stops. I think this is bottom picking. Testing the volume here. There's no structure. I'm so zoomed in. Balanced conditions. That's a bad trade. So we're testing the low of that auction. Testing the HVN. I think a new low could be made here. I don't know what I'm attempting to achieve with this. It's terrible.
Narrate the higher fractal chart. What has happened and what may it lead to? Is the lower fractal chart displaying enough information?
My phone just died. Slow grind down. We're in balanced conditions. So, in balance, it's a 50-50, overnight high, overnight low is taken. So there will be a move. Testing the low, finding some buyers. Curling. Base. Test the volume. Break above. Curling. Break. Test. Man, that is such a bad trade. There's like nothing here, no location. Just creating trades. Selling picks up. We want to see the reaction at the low here. Selling continues at the low. Tapping the low. Break the low. So overnight low seems more likely. We see stop divergence though. Thinking potential mean reversion. But also we're making new lows. If we get back up here, potential for VPOC migration. Holding the low. Liquidity steps in. Kind of a weak high. Selling. There's some more selling, more stops. Not really a good break, so it's not worth it to take a long off of here. I mean a short. So volume, break, pull back into the area. Auctioning above it. Breaking higher. Selling continues. There's some decent selling there. So we do have good selling now. Now pullbacks to the high volume at the high volume node here could offer potential for a short. Targeting the overnight low. Here we see a small auction. A breakup. Big selling. Probably gonna keep selling. High volume at 63. Selling may continue. Overnight low likely to be hit. Not hit yet though. Testing the high volume. Kind of stalling out. Maybe it'll keep going though. Testing the HVN.
Order submitted. Order submitted. Order submitted.
Targeting the overnight low.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
All right, we get a fill here. And these are the single prints, the 54 single prints. We're going to be trying to hold for... We have liquidity at 50 we'll hold for.
Order submitted.
$54 single prints were taken out. They just were.
Order submitted.
Buying coming in. Likely to take me. Just did. High volume here. So if 54 isn't supported, then we look for 40. LVN. $67 is a pretty good area. LVN here at 65. Some areas to fight through up here, 63-ish. Running it. We reject from the same area. Some decent selling there. Wow. That's pretty strange. So that 70 area is looking pretty good. Same with 67. That is strange activity. Stops are going to be above here into 65. $60 to 63 2-day VWAP looks like initial resistance. The real test though would be 70 stock zone. So we're on the high volume node. And we want to know, are we going to reject it or accept it? Looks like rejection. But we have all this volume created here, so it could pop up. And on the higher time frame, it's very clear that we tested into the 90s and then rejected heavily and see very heavy selling volume starting at 78 down to 69, base between 68.5 and 66.75, and continue the heavy selling. And then we have this resistance coming into 63, and if we break above 63, then we're likely to see that 67 to 70. So we're basing here. A rejection from this area could mean a lower low. There's some selling. Pushing straight down to the volume. Coming back up. Very strong selling volume. Breaking the low. So that was a short. Oh, IB is in. 53.25. So this liquidity could offer a test of that to get scaled by the liquidity for a potential break. Wow. Book flip. I think I have a slow trigger today because of yesterday. Previous value area low, picked. So the 50 area where liquidity is, we'll look for there and into the IB at 53.25. So we're basing out at around 50. This area could either get broken through for stops, or it could reject from here. So we break through, pick stops. There's more stops above the IB. Just hit 53. Tap the IB. Break through it.
Order submitted. Order submitted. Order submitted.
Might take me. Takes me out. Still looking. Pulling up to a high volume area. Below the IB. Currently holding the IB. So that's a structure break. I wanted to take this, but I didn't know. I was afraid there was going to be an IBC without room to scale. But we'll look for a pullback towards the IB.
Order submitted.
Okay, we're scaled. We're going to target that 41 stock zone.
Order submitted. Order submitted. Order submitted.
We'll see how we respond here for a potential push.
Order submitted.
So, hold in the high. I mean the low. Push, this is too high. This is too low, but then we are struggling at this structure here. Seen some decent selling. Decent selling coming into the low. So we break the structure, we test this area, which is now weak. We're holding up against this volume below 50. Break, some decent selling. We're going to target somewhere in here. Break the low. Decent selling. Looking to hold the low and continue. A battle. A break. And looks like some exhaustion. Ice. There's my target. I'm going to move my trailing stop to 50.
Order submitted.
51. Let's see if the selling starts really picking up. I could also do 46.
Order submitted.
That offers me a 2-to-1 and good risk reward. I mean, and still good structure if this 41 holds. Okay, taken out. That's a low volume node. Maybe it's not best to place it there. That is the previous low. So maybe not the best. Ledge here at 47. Strong buying. Up into 50. We know stops are also up at IB. That's a high volume node though. It has potential to keep squeezing. Or reject from here. Seems like we're basing. I don't want to get involved in this because this is a consolidation. So there's energy inside of it. It'll break to one side or the other. We can look for the IB though. That's our next area to interact. Liquidity at 52. Rejects the liquidity. ICE steps in. Pull back to the volume at 50. So we know potential to pick above the liquidity and into the IB. And from there, it's either going to reject or accept. And I will be fine with playing either way, depending on what we see. So we're creating some volume above here. It looks pretty similar to this. And if we start doing this above the IB, then it's potential for IBC into 67. $60 and 67. So, looks like some curling action. A lot of volume created at 50. We're rejecting this area. Break. Strong selling. So a pullback now to the high volume node at 50 could offer a short, targeting the low day. So the plan was on initial test of 40 stock zone. This is my key area where yesterday's breakout began. On initial retest, I expect support and buying to be present and the market to revert higher into the close. Alternatively, if the ES makes a low here and cannot get off the lows with increasing participation, I would be open for continuation lower. Next key target is 22.5 stock zone. So this area is important because it's where the rally started yesterday. And if it starts resolving as resistance, then we could target 22. We have a small high volume node here. So that was a perfect target. And that was a perfect exit. Unless I want to hold all the way for up here. Or up here. Which I'm fine with taking a trailing stop for 2 to 1. That was a 2 to 1, more than a 2 to 1, or no, it was just a 2 to 1, or just under actually by $10. Okay, so what we see is that currently we've held this 40 area. So we see that we created volume, tested lower, broke above, pulled back, broke high into 50, exhausted just above 50, and fell back down. And upon this retest of the volume, we've broken upwards. Now we're retesting the volume here. There's a lot of structure being created here, so this becomes a lower probability test because there's not really so much range any longer to operate. So that means that we should look for higher prices. This was a really nice short. I did miss this one, unfortunately, but I thought it might just be an IBC. I mean IBF. A retest of the volume and another push higher. Some decent buying above this level. It's so much more relaxing when I'm looking at the market like this instead of like this. This is how I was viewing the market yesterday. How am I ever supposed to have a firm opinion and be confident? Well, I could be confident, but how am I supposed to make good decisions when I'm like this? This is so much nicer, and then when I see it coming in, I could zoom out a little. So we're testing the high volume here. I'm not going to do anything until I see if we reach the high volume, the IB. Because we held the low there. Picking stops into the IB. There's more stops above. Auctioning below the IB. Tapped it. Stops are above it. This is a selling structure. It'll pay to be patient. Selling. Retest. Someone else liquidating. Test of the 50. Popping back up. Selling increases. May see the low get tested. So that wasn't my trade. Let's see how we react to this low. So if we hold this low and come back up, we'll have to be aware. I'm aware that this is holding currently. Yes, developing single prints now left at 53 and 70.25. We're repairing yesterday's poor auction areas with today's poorly auctioned areas. Potential to counter rotate or push lower. This low is, it's holding and it's creating higher lows. Could break through it though. Selling. Break the low. Breaking the low. Breaking the low. IB low to 56 Dock Zone is looking like the over-under. Waiting for a test of 40. High volume node at 44. Break the low, we see buyers. Low volume node up here. Some stop divergence. Still seeing buying. Selling structure. Looks like it could potentially fail from here. It's doing the same basing structure. Holding below 44 now. Come towards the low. Test, break this volume, break this high. Testing here. Selling. Selling. Liquidity steps in. Sellers didn't get very far. Breaking the high, breaking the high. Buying. $50. Stops above the IB. High volume node here. This could become the VPOC. Looking for picks. Looking for picks. Potential to see VPOC migrate. There's 9,300 up top. I could look up here for a potential short. Looks like it might just break. Testing the LVN. Break the low, immediately come back up. But we're also unable to test the IB. We could very well come back down into here, 44, test that area. We didn't pick these stops. Some good selling, buying.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
I don't think I like it. Gave away money. Have to see a VPOC migration or pick up higher. No impulsiveness. It rallied above, and then we're pulling back to this volume, and I'm selling into there. Okay, we're at the IB. Still looking for that pick. We're also seeing some curling action. Some volume to rely on here. Looks like a selling structure. We've created a lot of structure at this IB, so it could also turn into an IBF. Not yet. There's the IB. Okay, so potentialized for IBF. I saw it right here.
Order submitted. Order submitted. Order submitted.
Will one tick this? We're scaled. It might be an IBC, but I see a selling structure first. IBF, I meant.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
Well, tested. Looks like it might be IBF. Some selling. Some decent selling.
Order submitted.
That's a break. We're going to target this high volume node as the first target because it has potential to migrate VPOC. This is a magnet. Battling at the IB. Created some volume at the IB. Holding this volume. And holding this. This is pretty strong because we tested it like 6 times. So a counter rotation beyond it could bring us to this high volume area. And then if VPOC migrates and it wants to continue, then that could offer a potential VPOC migration short targeting the low day. But I know that this is a high probability area.
Order submitted.
A lot of orders here, so I'm just gonna one tick front rush it. Target, big selling.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
That's higher probability. Pretty big push here. Okay, that's my target. There were other opportunities to get involved here, but I just was too unsure if the IB was going to hold or not. some euro volatility, I would say. I have to pee. You shit it out my toilet. No. So break to test the IB, pull back, break the IB, pull back. There's a lot of shorting opportunities. This one was pretty good. Okay, so we're below the 40 zone. High volume node here. For some potential. We broke below it to 37. Broke that liquidity. Almost migrated VPOC, but did not. Four and a half points is not enough. When risking 3. Coming up to the high volume node after holding here.
Order submitted.
Doesn't look good for me. It's basing out. Want to see more of an outside edge? Maybe like up here. VPOC migration. Stops picked. Looking for high probability areas to enter. Not high probability. Not high probability. High probability. High probability. High probability. Very, very low. Low. Whoa.
Order submitted. Order submitted. Order submitted. Order submitted. Order submitted.
I wanted to play it up here. That guy pulls wrist neutral, pretty sloppy, but did it.
Order submitted.
48.75 to 40.
Order submitted.
The bottom of this, 7 points. Before the LVN here. And then, I guess the low.
Order submitted.
I was trying to catch an entry up here, but I wasn't prepared. It's pretty hard to hold on to. They pull. If we break this low, we're likely to come into my target.
Order submitted.
If we break below this area, 41, then we're likely to come into my second target.
Order submitted. Order submitted. Order submitted. Order submitted.
Really? All right. Nice. So that's it for me. Eventually, I will find opportunities to get multiple entries over time. All right, that was a good session. Let's run some stats. Entering at 48, exiting at 39. Base hits, 2 to 1s. I risked 3952. So I risked 2.5 points, 48.75 to 42.25. So risk 2.5 to make 6.5. And nine and a half, 16, 21, and risking 10. So 2 to 1. Good with it. All right. %62 win rate. Finish strong. 12 trades. My losses. My biggest loss is $45, and I'm making 100 on full trades. 1, 2. Well, overall, my losses are getting bigger. I mean, my wins are getting bigger and more frequent. And this is, I hope, an outlier. Has to be. My win rate is increasing slowly. Nice. Time to enjoy some lunch and come back and keep working. GG.